I just wanted to see what your off season was like, and also what's on the table for you to prove this season.
Oh man, I had a wonderful off season. Kind of untraditional with everything that's been going on, with the COVID and stuff like that. But just try to stay focused as possible. And they closed a lot of gyms and stuff where I was at, where I trained out in Los Angeles. But was able to do a lot of good things still, and focus on training, just a lot more time to spend with my family and with people who I hadn't necessarily had time to catch up with over the years. A lot more time to handle some business and stuff like that. We had played a lot of football, winning the Super Bowl. So a lot of that extra time to focus on some of the stuff off the field. So, that was the dopest part about the offseason.
Let's go to Bob Fesco. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, Frank, I just want to kind of know, as you're one of the team leaders out there, what's the ability for you guys to hold everybody accountable for doing the right things away from the facility, seeing what, the Hunt family and everybody invested in to you guys to have the facility up and running the way it is for the COVID stuff?
Oh, man, shouts out to them because, we walk around. You guys haven't really been able to see, but we walk around. They've done a magnificent job, from the top to the bottom, and just every day, providing us with a safe and, a safe and energetic, learning community, basically, for us to come in and be able to, sit in class and sit in, go on the field and be able to produce and practice in the safe, community. And I feel like that's been most important. There's been so many questions about, the safety of our players, safety of the coaches, us having to go home and stuff. And I just, feel like, everybody over here in our building, they just done an excellent job and, providing us with a, like I said, a safe community for us to work in.
Let's go to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, what's up, Frank? Good. I wonder if you could backtrack a little bit to 12 months ago. You had come in, you hadn't played for the Chiefs yet, but you had signed a big contract. So I'm wondering about the mental aspect that maybe it's different this year, if maybe it's a little bit more relaxed. And then also physically, it was around this time or maybe a couple of weeks later that you started dealing with that pinched nerve. So just if you could compare the mental and physical aspects of what you're feeling right now compared to this time last year.
Man, I feel excellent. Of course, you're going to go through stuff. Being a football player, you're going to always feel little nicks and stuff like that. But, I'm not feeling that pinched nerve, and I feel like that's the most important thing right now for me. Had a slow start last year. I wouldn't say, I'm always played through it. I don't give excuses. I really don't care about excuses and stuff like that. But I had a slow start. I had some things hold me back, and I was so adamant about getting back. If you was around me at all last year, if you spent some time in that locker room as one of the media guys, you know how adamant I was about just getting back and how much I wanted to heal up as fast as I could and try to do some things faster than what God had it planned for us. So, but things came around when it did, and it I stayed focused on treatment. Shout out to our treatment room. They do an excellent job of like I said, getting us back out on that field. And but the other part is your part. You got to be at treatment. You got to focus. You got to take it all in, understand what they're trying to do to get you back. And that's all I did. I bought into what they were telling me. You got to trust your trainers at some point and understand they want the best for you. And I did that. And I was able to get back out there and help my team win the Super Bowl.
Let's go to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Frank. Good to see you. I wanted to ask you, for the guys that are returning on defense, obviously I know you're happy with Chris being with you and obviously having a relationship with Tyron and those guys. Now that you all are together, what are the conversations been like on what you all want to accomplish in the second part of this, sort of defensive run? And then adding a new guy like Taco in, just how eager are you to see what he does in this defense, and how much have you tried to sort of get him accustomed to, obviously, unusual circumstances in the building, but getting more, used to the new guys around him?
Yeah. Honestly, Taco is a fun, energetic type of guy to be around. But going off what you had first asked, it's just with me and Tyron and, some of the other guys, you got Hitch, you got, it's a host of guys, who are leaders on that defensive side. But, me and Tyron, the main thing is, man, just staying in tune with each other. I feel like that's the biggest thing that happens when guys have success. Guys go win a Super Bowl. You got prima donnas. You got this guy wanting to go off and do this. You got different guys coming to work with different mindsets. They're not focused on the one goal, and that's to win the championship. And I feel like that's where our strength is, and we haven't wavered from that. Just having that short memory. yeah, we won the Super Bowl last year, but that was last year. You know, some guys get, cocky. They love that feeling. They love the emotions of winning it and carry that on the next year. And they don't really do shit for them, on the field for, for this year. Honestly, us being champions last year, nobody cares about that. I know our coach don't care about that. That's all fun. That's nice. It's pretty nice. It's cute and all, but, we got stuff to do this year and a whole new set of goals. We got to win the AFC championship, and that's where it starts.
Let's go to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Frank, kind of a similar question, actually, but you guys were the best defense in the NFL from week 11, basically through the end of the year. With guys like you and Tyron and the leaders you have on this team, what gives you confidence you guys can be the best defense in the NFL to start this season?
And just our ability to work and practice. I feel like that's where we beat every team. Can't give them too much, but you guys know we out there flying around, having fun, and challenging each other. I feel like it's a lot of competition. When you got guys that's coming in to work day in, day out, whether it's pushing you to be the best at your position or be the best on defense or be the best you can be offensively or be the best teammates you can be for the guys who are not playing necessarily. Those guys' roles are just as important as, the guys out there running around on the field. I couldn't run around on the field, and do what I do if I didn't have my boys on the sideline or those guys who I'm in practice working hard with every day. If I didn't have those guys pushing me to be better than what I am.
Let's go to James Palmer. Go ahead, James.
Hey, Frank, hope you're doing well, man. Kind of two parts to this. When you guys go over what you want to do schematically, how much do you look at different pressures you guys are working on now that you probably in year one couldn't even probably maybe get to? Is it expanding in that sense of what you guys can do to bring pressure to the quarterback? And then also with Chris coming back and you and him, how does his play impact what you see from a tackle, and how do you impact kind of what Chris does when you guys go over film?
Man, that's a good question. But it's kind of simple. It's an easy answer. It's a great question, but an easy answer. When you start asking questions about me and Chris, I get a nice smile come over my face, I guess, because that's my dog. I'm so happy he got paid and stuff. He was able to come back, with all those type of things. But just so happy, man. And with Chris, he's a smart player. He's so fun to be around, off the field and even on the field. But he's such a smart player, and he seems like he just gets better and better. I remember watching film on Chris when, I was a younger player, probably 3 or whatever, and he just a year behind me, really. And watching him, and I'm like, wow, who's this young guy? You know what I mean? You're a beast. And finally getting the chance to get out here, get acclimated with the system, and to be able to play with him. Last year was it was great. And now, we talk all the time, and we look at each other and we understand, what's asked of us. We understand the type of pressure that's put on players like us. But we embrace it too. It's all fun. It's fun. Like I tell him, have fun with it. Don't let it stress you out too much. And he tell me the same. Like, we're gonna be the best, 2 defensive linemen ever to play the game together. And that's one of the things we always talk about. We got a few years to do something great. Just the reality of the game. You got a few years in that window to do something great and to be the greatest you can be at doing it. And why not do it? And to piggyback on your other answer, just about the defense. We just constantly just stand fresh, man. You buy in the pressures and stuff. Pressure's nice. I love 4-man pass rushes, though. I tell my linebackers they can drop back there and get off the way. They be in the way sometimes.
Let's go to Danny Welniak. Go ahead, Danny.
Hi, Frank. How you doing, man?
Good on, Danny.
Good. So Andy Reid talks a lot about how the preseason is vital for the offense to get timing down before you go into the regular season. But how much does not having preseason games impact defense, and how do you guys have to change your mentality as you go into the regular season without those scrimmage games?
Man, well, the biggest thing from what I understand as being younger and the more time I was playing in the preseason is just the development part. I feel like that's a huge, development period that the rookies are going to miss. I was telling someone today, man, it's kind of going to be untraditional this year because, y'all missing a huge part of the game. And that was that. Really, it's that after you get drafted, it's that first acclimation period, introducing them to the NFL. Then you got to go through training camp and stuff like that. They missed a lot of it. So it's y'all got to really understand that y'all work is going to come from practice. It's going to come from training camp. It's going to come from really locking in and understanding this film, because y'all not going to have an acclimation period like the preseason where it's, you know, quote unquote, you know, the competition level is the same, and you know what I mean, going right into the fire basically. You know, you're going to a league where you got a 12-year pro, all pro, who you might be going against, and you got to be ready for them. Just simple as put. I mean, I first got in the league, I had to prepare for Trent Williams, Jason Peters, and all these type of dudes all within the first 4 or 5 weeks of my season. I'm just looking at myself like, wow, that's going to be a long year. You know, I understood that. But you embrace it, you know, tell them simply, welcome to the brotherhood.
We've got time for one more, guys. Let's go to Darren. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Frank, thank you, first of all, for joining us, man. And, you know, my question steers away from the football field, but obviously you know, it touched you, obviously, to pay for the funeral of Legion Talifero. And I want to know, like, what went into your thought process, and how much more active will we see players like you inside the Kansas City community? Because this happened just 6 blocks from where I live here in Kansas City. So I want to know, you know, like, have you talked with other players, and how with Patrick's voter registration, will you all be instrumental in the 3rd and 5th district here in Kansas City, where voter registration and voter suppression will be taking place come November?
Yes, man, that's crazy you mentioned that about voting. Actually, I'm going to get back to the other part, but that's crazy you mentioned that about voting, because as far as Kansas City Chiefs are concerned, our staff has been very active in just, you know, helping us get registered if you're not registered voting in the state, or whether you're an absentee voter, and just explaining the language. Some guys don't understand the language of voting, you know, one, because they never really talked about it, they've never been comfortable talking about it to somebody, but it's so important, I feel like. And then just coming up with this you know, this voting mark is just so important for the younger people who, you know, are able to vote, who've never voted, or, you know, probably look at it like, oh, it's not that serious, or my vote don't count. I feel like it's very important for you to get out there and understand who you're voting for. You know, do some research and understand the candidates and everything, you know, because, you know, don't do it by popular demand on what you read on Instagram and TV, because, you know, sometimes that can affect the outcome of our country in the years to come. But on the other note with, you know, my young boy, man, it's sad, because you got, you know, growing up in the inner city community, man, I had plenty of nights where I had to, you know, duck some bullets, you know, they shot my house up twice, 2 days back to back, growing up in inner city Los Angeles. And they shot our house up twice back to back in 1 week. And I remember being a kid laying down on the couch and my auntie putting me on the carpet, and, you know, seeing bullets fly through my house. You know, then the next day seeing it again, and then watching my uncle get shot. And then, you know, fast forward, and then you know, the story comes out about Legion and what's going on with that. It's like, come on, you know, somebody had to be there, and I just had it on my mind. You know, I don't like credit for stuff like that, because it's just naturally me. But somebody had to do it. Somebody had to be there. Would I challenge other people to step up and do things like that? I don't know. You know, like I said, it's just me. You know, it's just whether they step up or not. I feel like I'm always do things like that. That's just pure. I got a pure heart. You know, and when things like that happen, and I don't see nothing taking, you know, nobody taking action, or, you know, it's not really being talked about, you know, it touches me somewhere. That's really what happened.
Frank, we appreciate you taking the time today. Hopefully we get to talk to you soon.
I appreciate y'all.